Yes. For Syracuse Redevelopment.
So is this is there like a resident Syracuse who can come to kind of, and then what's happening?
Yeah.
Or am I actually on leave?
Okay, what do you want to learn? I guess let me ask that question.
Okay. I kind of want to get more involved.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit. I just moved from leave for like 3 weeks, so.
Okay.
I was considering doing on the board. I have to know few people there and problems that we had and when we were going to move. So I just was like, I'll wait.
Okay.
So I was just, I'm not looking. We have 5 kids, but I just wanted to get more involved and just kind of.
Okay. So this meeting is the Syracuse Redevelopment Commission, so they discuss development issues. One of the things they're going to discuss is the lighting up at the tech park. They put in solar lights, and a couple months ago, someone from the tech park came and said, you know, we really appreciate that we have street lights, but the solar lights are not holding the charge all night long, and especially in the winter. So they're asked that they be replaced. So that's something that they're going to discuss. They're also looking for some more projects to take on. So that's what that meeting's about.
Is this also like the meeting that they talk about the grant for people building in Main Street, like the front of the building?
Let's go ask David, because I'm not exactly sure. I think so.
I'm just very curious, so I did a little research that I was just, you know.
Nate, is the agenda the same for this meeting as it was, if it had been last week?
Far as I know.
Okay.
We gotta put some windows, so I can do that.
Other than the time change, I figured nothing else was changed, so.
Yeah, not that I've seen it.
Okay. I just thought I'd ask, because if I don't, then that's when I get into trouble.
Sure. There.
Hello.
Mark, how you doing? Good, how are you?
What's going on in town?
Not a whole lot. Probably like, gonna get me in trouble for saying this, so.
I see you out operating Maniacs today?
All day. I had a leaky water pipe, and I heard it shut off for a couple of weeks, because I've been waiting for a good time to deal with it, and then I needed to cut some drums up, and I was like, oh, I'm kidding me, yesterday, knock that out 3 times, and make it worthwhile to wear one. Except for that mini one was not quite powerful. I mean,
It looks like you're struggling with it when I see you.
I was hammering the roof were like this big.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't think that these bushes and these little softwood trees would have that big a roof, but they did. But I got them all out. You said there's doing a fundraiser out there on Friday, and I wanted to have a more smooth transition to get out into the back lawn than with a T-box. It was in the park of like
Definitely. We have our first public visitor in a long time. You just interested? So. No, that's what you're getting. Let her ask. This is Mark and David.
Alright.
Okay.
I'm Debbie.
We're missing one more. The other one's not gonna make it tonight, so. Which one, Jeff? Jeff won't be here. At least last I knew he was gonna be here. Minutes were a little odd. Transcript rather than your packet, so. So there's your, minutes, your official minutes are there, and then your bills are in there.
excitement waiting for the 6 o'clock.
These are exciting, exciting.
I ended up having to take off the weekend.
Yeah, so
It's gonna be a long meeting.
normally these are like 5 or 10 minutes. This one might last 20 or 30. So, depending on how much they decide to argue.
You're gonna jinx it, aren't you? Gonna jinx it.
Alright, 6:00. Call a meeting to order. Approval of minutes.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes.
All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Approval of claims. So we have one claim for $16,794.71. The Jones, Petrie, and Murphy for the elevated pedestrian pathway,
Just for the,
research, right?
Yes, correct. They're just finishing up their billing. You guys approved this a long time ago. They're just finishing up their billing.
I'll make a motion to pay John Petrie and McKinsey $16,794.71. Second that motion.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. New business.
You guys don't mind, can we start with old business?
That's fine.
Alright.
Whole business.
Alright, so back to the tech park light. Mark looked into the other company that came forward, that's not gonna be a good match. They would require removing all the old poles and not using anything that's in there, starting from scratch. They said their stuff won't work with the stuff that's there, so they were kind of a non-starter. So we're kind of left with the ones you guys have been talking about. I made you some packets in case you didn't have your info with you. You guys can, you wanna talk about some more, or any other questions, make a decision, all up to you, obviously, but, you know that we're getting towards winter when the lights are gonna go dim again if they don't work right. Sure that tech parks are like an answer of one sort or another eventually, so. You say we're still, we've got different prices on trying different solar lights, seeing if they're any better, but we've been chasing bad money with bad money, or just going down the hardwire route, which Mark got me a couple prices on that. He supplied a few months ago.
Well, given the cost difference in the quote, 6,000 plus, 4,000 between Woodbury and Moyer, I will spend $3,000 to see if we can handicap solar, in my opinion. You mean outdoor solar? Well, I mean,
Or any one of those.
determine which one, but, I think 3,400. Hardwire's $50,000. I think it's a reasonable risk to try and see if there's a better solar system first before we make a commitment to spend more than that. I think. Yeah, if you can get 2 years out of a that point, a car should be running hopefully. I think we probably agree, because we have to pay the electric bill then, right, too? Did we determine
More than likely, yes. The town pays the electric bill on all the other street lights, so it would be an assumption that that's the town budget. Potentially the tip money, or it's the town general fund, but the town would end up paying the electric bill. So.
Did, Mark have a suggestion or
He did.
a recommendation?
He just said, here's the menu, you guys pick.
It'd be good to know
I
what we're picking.
Yeah, like I said,
I kinda say we just approve spending up to the top dollar amount and let him pick what he feels best.
and just in case these numbers have changed a wee bit since he got them, he might want to approve a little higher, not to like, say 5,000 or something.
Yeah, I agree.
And we can work on it from there. That's the route you choose to go.
I'm fine with that. I mean, that just really makes sense.
I mean, you're right, I mean, that's $5,000 compared to the lowest one's 50, almost 51, I mean, it's.
Yeah, 10 sets the bill, we can like before you're.
I mean, it is risky, but yet it's cost.
How would you want to more for, assuming it works, hopefully it works. Even if it is, it's like
I did wait for money, architects.
yeah, you're gonna.
I agree. All right, so make a motion to approve, replacing the lights, 13 lights at not to exceed $5,000 for the tech park. Motion.
Alright, have a motion, and a second, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Alright, thank you.
Okay, so, several things here. Apparently the solar signs, the sale signs, I'm sorry, out of Tech Park were originally designed, those little metal slats. I'm talking about the way they have vertical slats in them,
Oh, yeah.
or horizontal slats. Those were originally designed to have the business name on them. So you guys are interested in, going down that route, getting those names, however they would be placed on there, I assume would be some sort of laser grading or something, but if you're interested in doing that, that apparently was part of the original concept anyway. I think it's probably a decent idea.
Sort of makes it look permanent.
Yeah, yeah. And it's just a little, a little more advertising who's back there. Most people drive by and don't have any idea, they probably never turn in, but, we put my business names on there and highlight them a little bit. If they would have to change hands, it's not that big a deal to swap those out, I'm sure. So if you're interested in that, I will score some pricing for you, but I just want to get your opinion first.
I was wondering if they did, like, drill them with the drill off, and change the plate
Yeah,
of that whole piece.
yeah, I look
Not
close,
everybody.
yeah, they may do up this deal to attach something to the plate. So, but I can like stop down at Swift Lake and have them look at it.
Did they make it one?
Yeah.
Did they make?
Oh, I don't remember those names of the company, but they did not make sense those times.
They did not, like, and we don't know how to do it, rather than replace these, my suggestion would be have them make a template, drill them, use a standoff, and then take a laser cut, do something black or whatever, and then that way you don't have to remove these every time, you can just remove
Right.
the plastic.
Yeah, that's good.
Which I think is where I'm at.
Yeah, if you want to reach out to him or I can, or with you, if you guys are.
I'll drive up there and look at the thing, and see what I think, I just didn't know if you were, like, are you designing to be, or?
I did not.
Okay. I just happened to make that template. Yeah, that would go off of the left side, because they're all the same, where the right side curves, and just center the hole based on the length. Anyway, figure out how we're gonna do it first, but. Yeah, center, because then it breaks it all, we have to be left of the side, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Otherwise, it'll, yeah.
trying to figure out what might be a good project for this committee to work on. Nate and I have met, you guys met with the, folks from Kendallville on the housing. So we've got, some commercial buildings that are being underutilized or not at all, and we've got housing stock that can be refurbished. So that's kind of one side of available projects that kind of need an oversight committee. And then, I'm also working with council on, some plans for the village, which includes the boardwalk and handing out stoplights and, things like that. And then there was also a conversation a couple months ago, I think they brought it up about potentially a food truck lot, to give them places to come and park. Did have one property owner step up and said he's willing to at least discuss it. He's got a lot in a pretty good spot that's not being used right now. Just fair grass. He's willing to talk about it at least. So there's those projects that kind of need like a committee that's overseeing them. I'd like to see some sort of action on the underutilized or not being utilized commercial buildings for sure, and then definitely housing rehab. We're having a hard time obviously finding ground to build new stock on, but if we can start a rehab program on existing homes would be a good starter. We're building a lot of condos and apartments, but we need some houses as well. Or we need to have some houses that come on the market because there just aren't any starter homes on the market in this town. So I don't know if you guys are interested in working on a project like that, give this thing a new venture, like this is Tech Park pretty much closed out. Be a good potential project for you. To kind of give you, some ideas, and I can have our new building inspector give me a new list, but I had Scott, who was our previous building inspector, go around, and he identified at least a dozen properties that he thought were, in distress, or nearing in distress. So a couple of them have been flipped since then. There's still quite a few of them out there, and that's just the ones he did on the director, and I'm sure Tyler could come up with his own list of distressed properties that could potentially be, part of a program.
So when he's looking at these properties or doing building inspections or whatever, my concern is around people that are coming in and they're buying it for whatever, 50 grand, and they're putting 10 in it, and they're trying to make 30, and the quality is subpar, and it's going to fall in disrepair. How can we get a building inspector, so we should be able to make sure the standards are what they're supposed to be. Not saying that they're not, that would be my fear.
Yeah.
That people come and put lipstick on a pig and
his reach is only so far. He only gets involved when the issue generally requires structural change to the home, not just new siding and those kind of things. That he's not involved in per se. He can try to do what he can to the outside of the building, but if he doesn't have access to the inside of that building, then kind of stuff. But yeah, certainly now that he's there full time, certainly utilize them to the best of their ability to aid in that. To go down that road.
So are you thinking the same type of program that Kendallville has, where they set up a corporation that actually acquires and redevelops the property and resells it?
If it's not them, it would be, this group, but their model was working very well, and I'd be more than happy to, it's working, right on model, but.
Yeah. And we do reinvent.
Yeah, exactly.
the key for that would be to get people involved, because that was a non-governmental kind of organization, not for profit. I think it would be a good effort if we can get, obviously they can work with them.
Sure.
But we didn't get a lot of interest, so trying to figure out how we can get more people interested in these types of things is obviously the key.
And especially, on the commercial side is definitely where your guys' wheelhouse, but, just like, for instance, the thing with probably a good one if we're able to buy it and hold it as an asset for the town and have it redeveloped that way. Like, we can kind of control the destiny a little better. Otherwise, we've already had our street crew go up there and clean it because nobody else was. Clean up the lot and things like that this summer. I'm afraid that's going to continue as long as the current owners own it. They're all in Texas, so they don't even pay attention.
So they pay the taxes?
Hardly know. I haven't looked recently. But they've got half a dozen properties still for sale, in the whole Penguin Point franchise. Some of them they bought out by the Peru and some coffee houses that, this one may sit for a while. But I've been in the building and it needs work before you can get the doors open. So somebody's got to be willing to pay some money to buy it and rehab it. But, it is normal practice, for an RVC to venture into these things and buy properties and hold them. And try to do the rehab and market them ourselves. As one possibility. I'm just using that one as an example. There's some other ground properties that probably also be looked at. Kind of a land bank, available properties for developers. There's not even a for sale sign, I think, of my building, so who would know?
Yeah.
So those are, there's a couple thoughts, and so I'm also working on your, annual spending plan for next year that you guys have to approve by December. The budget's similar for this year for each TIF. A lot of the TIFs are locked into the area they serve. The Syracuse TIF obviously is the big one that runs the whole, basically the length of town. And you guys have access to spending in a lot of different ways. But, actually found I don't know how I did not see it, but you guys also have a fund, called the Redevelopment Commission Capital. It was basically came from the sale of all the lots out of Tech Park. So that one has a little over $400,000 sitting in it, and it has no more income coming into it, and it won't, unless you guys sell something. But that money is just sitting there for capital improvements or whatever you guys want to spend it on. So, that fund could be used for land acquisition and things like that, as a possibility.
And it doesn't matter whether it's residential or commercial.
I believe so.
I think it'd be good if as a redevelopment commission, host something for, the possession or whatever, for people that have ground along the municipal line. Kind of formula probably to work with the town without adversely affecting themselves, open the door for, if they wanted to get, let go of any land, those types of things, would be good for us to do. Because again, I think a lot of people don't understand that they're assessed access to no tax impact. And if we can get annexation going on, not gonna adversely affect some people, and they get some ground that people are willing to let go of, then maybe we can unlock some of the barriers that we've had.
And then for the food truck lot, you said that was behind the Coors.
Yep. It's behind the Coors, yeah.
Trees on it, fairly.
Yeah, it's pretty just flat, perfect rectangle essentially, and there's off-street parking, available. It's, in the business district, it's a block off, so you easy access when you see the button. If it would become a, destination point, people would find it pretty easy.
Was there a third item?
0.9 acres.
0.9. Third item,
Wait, we had the, like the housing rehab thing, or food truck lot, what was the other thought? Was there another one?
Yeah, I mean, it was just housing, commercial ventures, food truck lot. There's a lot of layers to the commercial and real and housing, because then you can buy bare ground, you can buy housing stock, whole housing stock, or commercial project. So it's kind of three legs stool there. They're different though, you have to treat it different accounts, but.
Yeah.
Well, I would be in favor of seeing if we can find some people that would be interested in, a TRI type organization, and we can partner with the chamber and see if they can help us find some folks. And I would be in favor of looking at, and I think a housing is a really big one. And then, figure out what we can do from a commercial perspective. That property, I think you're talking about, I mean, we don't need on that, right?
No, same one. Yes.
So if it were to come up this year, they'll look at it.
We're on the list we fall, probably at the very bottom. Says taxes come first before anything else. Then bank note taxes, and then we, somewhere down the line.
We could potentially try to buy it from,
For you. Yeah, try to find, because you can only pay, as a government entity, you can only pay the average of two appraisals, not what they would ask for, but you said the appraisals will give you the average, that's all you can legally offer them, as a government group. The private person can do whatever they want, but we're only allowed to do that.
does it have to be that, or can it be both?
You can be less, but you can't pay any more than that, can't pay any more than that, correct? And we have to pay the appraisals.
So how would that go? That was the link to the sheriff's.
That becomes a tax bill, I'm not sure how those work exactly, as part of the government type of them. I have to research that one, but.
I want to check if they're looking at direction.
2 years?
Oh, that was 22, 24.
So they haven't paid for 23, so.
I would be interested to know, maybe if you know somebody that works, if I would be interested to know what type of electric they're looking for, if they're looking at commercial or industrial, so that we can use that market demand as a guidepost for what we do. Because the last thing we need in this county right now is more industrial jobs and no housing, because
Yeah.
we got plenty coming. That's why I think I do think that these are all important, but I think we've got to try and solve for the housing somehow, some way. And Don Rath, here I would ask him again about land that they've got, and what in the world they're gonna do with it, but it would be nice to be able to look at that and try and solve two problems.
Pretty cool. That's a cool city on it. 40, 50, ventures. They go not further. I've had a couple conversations with Don, and they're not at all interested in the part of it, but.
Oh, you need to go next Cobra meeting with everybody else.
Yes.
Ask the question.
Yeah, I thought about it. I mean, even before, months ago, I thought about it, put it out there in the open air for, having them explain in the open air why they won't. They need students, they need housing stock, they have ground,
We can help.
we can help. I got builders that'll build them on a row. Literally, yeah. There's no grant.
I like the idea that Kendallville has of everything that they bought and sold, have restricted covenants on it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, you can't build, you can't take out there in the driveway. No.
I think, I was in Culver the other day, and their downtown's really nice, and always attractive, and I run on Main Street a fair amount. We really make a nice corridor. street and live in a little bit from that over here on the other side of the insurance office. Which is the KRI type strategy, and with the development that they're doing at the middle, or at the elementary, it's gonna be a really nice area.
Yeah, it's actually that's on this year's paving, we're putting new street, new sidewalks and everything down Boston this year, next month, when they start, so. They're actually down there cleaning out street right now.
I think we should talk to Brent and see if maybe they can talk to some of the builders or people on the chamber that might wanna be involved in something like that up here. Sounds like to me a winning strategy is about fit. It varies from people in local government, contractors, realtors, bankers.
Yeah, money.
Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely look bankers. And, I went to so, Community Foundations started yet another housing coalition. It's like 15th one in the last 10 years, but, they spent a lot of money and a lot of time and did another study that looks exactly like every other study that's ever been done. So I went to the first one and I realized it was rinse and repeat, so I didn't go to the next two. There's another one, and it's like, it's the same stuff, we're talking about the same stuff. You're studying it again and coming up with the same conclusion. Yes, meeting houses, everybody knows that.
Yeah.
And, so it's, everybody understands the problem, we just, nobody's figured it out yet.
Well, some of it's just cost, it just makes, unit economics are tough. But I think especially for properties that are like what PRI was doing, and stressed, and, I can pick them up or whatever, and then the tangible benefits to the neighborhood. They're pretty profound, so I think that it's definitely worth trying to put effort behind that, and getting some people that are motivated.
It's good to get your head down that road as well. They're kind of same boat, same conversations endlessly, and maybe Intel is a good tool to use and push a lot harder than we have been. So, for getting young families to invest in a rundown home and, build it up and get some equity in it and sell it in there later and step up. And there's plenty of properties out there that use, rehab around the county.
For sure. Yeah, I think all those are good options. I think it revolves around getting the right people lined up to participate.
Yeah.
So what would that look like, say we bought a parcel of land and we fund the land, but then builders come in and build the houses and sell them?
Potentially.
But the builders buy the land.
I mean, that's
off of us.
Yeah, it'd be similar, I guess, if, use tech park as an example. A guy bought some ground, prepped it, and then, bought it, made it shovel ready, and then engaged the industry. It's kind of similar model.
So the way that works, depending on the community, sometimes you need to land, somebody to do something with it. So that their overhead expense is lower, so therefore the unit price is lower, and you get it on the tax roll, by the development. So that's the strategy, and theoretically that makes sense, except that we don't have any developable land adjacent to town that we could acquire at the moment, which is why I think it's important to kind of bite some of the landowners in the area, that are contiguous to town and have a conversation with them, see if they're interested, and if they're not interested, if the neighbors are, they would be amenable to annexation, so that we could incorporate their property and then a willing party to sell and create an opportunity that way. But if they're not, annexation always kind of tough to be able to make that work, unfortunately. The other thing we could do is we could plan a field trip to Indianapolis and knock on state representatives' doors, come session, ask them to loosen some of that up, to make it a little bit easier. go about having a town hall type event with people. What is normal and customary for an IDC to do in that casino night?
I don't know what brings them in.
Do a presentation.
Or something. The handful of them I've tried, I don't know, might be this many people.
I know. Well, and I think that as more and more conversations had with FP1 and the impacts on local government, I think that it's going to open people's eyes to the fact that growth has to be a priority. And hopefully that will make some people aware that being a local participant is helpful. Doesn't mean you have to sell, but at least they're willing to, especially for our ag neighbors, to allow us to annex, a party that's willing to sell. Super helpful. Otherwise, we're just floundering, waiting for the day when parcel becomes available.
So with the ag neighbors, what's their heartburn with the becoming annexed?
Exactly, property taxes. But I don't think a lot of them understand that their property taxes don't change.
Okay. So,
I mean, you know, you talked to, some recently, I think that was the perception, right? It's like,
oh, yeah.
my taxes are
yeah,
gonna
my
go up.
taxes will double or whatever, and the taxes.
Yeah, as long as they're, like, that's ag, there's no effect on the property taxes, so long as they remain that ag. So, even if they annex in and they stay a farm, nothing changes, they don't notice anything tax-wise.
Do you find anything out about how Fisher's annexing the government parcels or whatever?
They're supposed to be getting me a write-up, I haven't got it yet, that kind of explains it all. So I talked to, Pete said that it was, he was waiting for his attorney to give him something, and he hasn't got it yet. But, there was something to do with, what did he say? I don't remember. What he said. Some loophole in the law somewhere that they were able to exercise, I don't remember what it was.
Which one? Loophole?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what he said, it had to do with a 3-mile zoning law, is all he said. He was waiting for his attorney to do some work.
Well, if you don't have the answer to that.
Yeah, I know, yeah. I mean, call him again.
Would be
In a
interesting
couple
to
weeks.
know, because that thing has grown tremendously, and I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
think that we wanna grow at that rate, or would we, but there's some ways to make it a little bit less, burdensome. That'd be great.
Have you talked to, Syracuse over after crushing? Last I heard they weren't a solid no.
No, I think there's some flexibility there.
I just thinking,
Yeah.
we could buy parcel from them to develop housing.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a conversation worth having, see whether they're interested or not.
And I don't know how Stockman feels on that, field between, surrounded by housing addition.
Right.
Just, Southwest School.
Yeah, I bet you could get,
Not that I want housing behind my house.
I bet you could get 30, 40 houses in.
Yeah, that's so. I mean, it's surrounded.
Right. Yeah, it can't be
Well, yeah.
can't be all that helpful, part of that, just to get to it, and, equipment wise and everything else,
Stop at the high school.
yeah, on the west side of this.
You got Fox Run and then the cornfield and then the next one is we got Kearns to the west of it.
Yeah.
Syracuse to the east.
Yeah, Countryville. Yeah, it seems that it's definitely a bit, out of it's not a water, right?
Yeah.
I've got to run, so I don't think we're voting on anything else, so it doesn't matter, right?
No votes on it.
That's right. Anything else? Everybody got anything? We'll close it up real quick.
Okay. Motion to adjourn.
Second that.
Mm-hmm.
All good. Aye.
I guess I did, that's it in the, just out of deciding that they did. We almost did 30 minutes.
You did 35.
Almost.
Wasn't an hour and a half like Chad was telling me, what ended up with.
That's council meeting.
When Chad told me he started as park superintendent, he told me, oh, the park board meeting should only be about 30 minutes. It was usually 90. After the third time of him telling me that, I could just stop, because it was longer.
Do you live in town here?
No, I live, on the southern side of Stewart Lake,
Okay.
so.
Gary tried to recruit her.
Yeah.
She told me when she walked in that she did not want a job.
Just learning.
I'm just learning, I have 5 kids at home,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't have my baby left. He goes possibly to preschool next year, so I don't know if
So you're gonna run for the school board?
I've been wanting to do something for
Yeah.
a number of years, but
Yeah, I know what you mean. When I left the dispatch center, I just wanted to be still involved with the government. But it's been 10 years now, I've been gone from there.
Wow.
from dispatch,
Mm-hmm.
2011, okay. Is that like the 911
911
operator?
center. Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yep, I had 21 years in there. I left as the director.
okay, I consider doing that,
Yeah.
third shift.
Yeah, I worked 13 years at thirds and then the remaining was days.
Wow.
And thirds was my choice because obviously I couldn't get on days because of seniority, and then
Yeah, I heard that's hard.
with the family, thirds was better.
Yeah. So where would be the best place for someone like me to kind of research